In preparing for segment 6, I was most concerned about trail conditions on the Cowboy Recreation Trail and about the weather, but both turned out to be pretty good and enabled me to do some catch up by taking some really long days at the end. There's a lot more road involved in this particular segment, but still some good tracks, especially the Mopac, and then later on the very long and impressive Cowboy Recreation Trail from Norfolk through to Shadron, and a little bit of a surprise that went beyond that. Then it started to get uphill, prone by headwinds, and quite difficult on State Highway 20 and 18 through finally to Casper.
Good afternoon. I got into where I'm staying at Gr8 a little bit early, so I decided, even though I've done a lot of biking today, to go out for a little twilight ride because it's been a bright sunny day. May regret it because the light seems to be disappearing pretty quickly, and now I'm quite a long way out. But I also realized I didn't do much recording today. It's not been a bad day. More corn, more farmland, more Iowa. But yeah, a few less trails, and what there were just sort of straight and alongside the highway. Yeah, nothing much to look at. This one's a little bit more attractive, but again, alongside the highway. And it's the T-Bone Trail, I believe. It's funny, I spent all that time fretting and anxious about Nebraska, that it was going to be bitterly cold in the winter, possibly the worst state to leave for my final leg of the wider journey after I resequenced and switched directions and that sort of stuff. But yeah, far from being snowy and blizzardy and very, very windy and bitterly cold, today's actually been really sunny and yeah, quite warm. Not as warm as yesterday, but it was unseasonably hot yesterday in the 60 Fahrenheit sort of range, 15 to 17 Celsius. It's quite a bit higher than normal, but yeah, it's been in the 50s today, high 50s. And if that's as good as I can get, I'll take it, because it was good. This is the Mopac Trail. There isn't much to look at. About 33 kilometers to go. So I'm going to get benighted again.
Hello, I'm riding on a trail, which is good. It's the Oak Creek Trail. Yeah, that is good because in the 2 days it will take me to get from Lincoln up to Norfolk, both parts of Nebraska. I think there's only a few small trails and this is one of them. It's quite pretty, but I think I might be framing it that way simply because, you know, the rest of it's been pretty mundane. Just some backcountry roads and occasionally some quite busy roads. But yeah, while I'm riding on a trail, I'm happy. There are a few times when this has been so cold it's actually been painful. But yeah, if you just put more clothes on, you can block it out. I'm still on the Oak Creek Trail for a bit. Thought I'd record a little bit more because, wow, nothing else has really been that worthy of being recorded. But yeah, kind of enjoying it nonetheless, just because it's good conditions for biking surface-wise, and I can play little games like what speed do I need to go to build up enough heat to cancel out the cold. Surprisingly entertaining, that game. There's a few gravel roads that I've had to ride on today. They're more like rolled dirt, but I think while they stay dry they'll be pretty good. Again, it's a very vast landscape. I'd kind of enjoy a bit more vegetation, to be honest, but yeah, the never-ending horizon never ceases to please me. Yeah, I know, balaclava's super lame. They probably don't help with keeping my glasses from fogging up. They also probably muffle my voice. Oh, but it's so necessary right now. So very necessary because it's cold. Just leaving Columbus. I think I'm about to get onto the Gr8 Trail. Lame and counterproductive. I'm a bit older than that. Yeah, I think this is Lake Babcock. There's the Bob Lake track coming up and the Gr8 track that I'm on now. And just like yesterday, that there was only 2 small bits of track, and most of the road is the same today. It probably looks quite dark on the video. Believe it or not, it's after midday, and this is the sum total of the light.
Yeah, I stayed in Schuyler last night, which didn't have too much to it, but it's basically the halfway point between Lincoln and Norfolk, so it was quite convenient. Got to Columbus. I think that's the third Columbus I've stayed in on the Great American Rail Trail. It's bigger, got some coffee. Yeah, I've still got about 70 kilometers to ride today, but it looks fairly easy, so it shouldn't be too much of a hassle. You know, if I didn't know better, I'd think I was pregnant, because I really seem to have developed some weird cravings. I know it's common for people doing long distance bike tours to be astonished at how much they can eat, and you know, their food intake goes up and up and up. Anything, mine's gone down. But it's got weird. When I was in Columbus a bit back, I found a really good deli. It's a rare thing to be valued in small country areas, and I decided what to eat. Came away with a whole jar of pickles, honeycomb, and Greek yogurt, and individually they're all beautiful, collectively weird. What a weird lunch that was. Just had it such a good spot. Maybe there's a logic to this in terms of what my body has been lacking, what my diet has been lacking. Yeah, I haven't had too many injuries, apart from the accident ones. Not much sort of cramp or muscle pain or anything like that, but I suspect I was lacking electrolytes. I hadn't had electrolyte drinks or anything like that. So maybe that explains the pickles. But honeycomb and Greek yogurt and pickles, yeah, that's really strange. Must be pregnant, or I've just biked too much.
Hello all, this is the Cowboy Recreation Trail. I've just left Norfolk, Nebraska, so really just started the trail, and it goes on for 200 miles, 350 something kilometers, so that's awesome. Yeah, the riding has been too bad the last couple of days, but I sure did miss having trails. Meet many of them, and it's a bit sunnier today, a bit warmer. It's still pretty windy. Haven't quite worked out whether it's going to be mostly a tailwind or a headwind as yet, but yeah, really nice to be back on the trail. Hey. I spent the night in Norfolk. It was pretty uneventful. Pleased to have accommodation. I had an offer from a guy that runs a shuttle to take some of my gear along to Valentine, where they've got a depot, and I was just about to take him up on it with most of my gear when I suddenly thought, you know, when I first researched this part of the trail, you know, some of the accommodation options were a bit dubious, ambiguous, and so I said, oh, okay, take half of it that I'm definitely not going to use, and I did that because, yeah, I'm still having a few problems with the rib cartilage stuff, and it's definitely easier without too much gear on board. But I kept most of it, including the camping gear, because, you know, despite the fact that this is as cold as it's going to get, I may actually have to do some tenting, or at least use of such informal accommodation that I need my sleeping bag and roll mat. So yeah, I didn't actually give him much in the end, and he's yeah, the depot has got an arrangement with an accommodation provider that I was going to be using anyway in Valentine. There aren't many options, and yeah, that will just save me a little bit, but oh, you got to think ahead at this time of year, eh? Because I think most of the time people ride this trail tenting it at the same time. There's lots of tenting options. There's quite a few towns that you go through, and the road is always fairly close to the trail, but yeah, this time of the year, very few of those towns will have open accommodation. Sometimes it's accommodation that keeps off the grid, off the internet, and yeah, I may need to keep my options open. Anyway, this is good. I'm on the red rock. It's crushed here, that a lot of people complain about. So far, the only difference between that and the crushed limestone is the colour. So I've got no problems with the surface, it's great, but obviously there's a long way to go, and it's not uncommon for trails to have you know, smoother conditions just out of town for 5 kilometers or so, and then for things to change. So we'll see what happens, but at the moment, all good. I think how difficult this ride is going to be for the next 350 kilometers or so, it's a bit longer than I thought before, might just come down to wind direction, or at least trajectory of my bike in relationship to the wind direction, because at the moment I'm actually riding slightly more uphill than I was before, but things are going a bit easier because I've changed direction a little bit and I'm less into the wind. But the surface is great, everything's great. Won't use the drone much because it's quite windy still. My loving family have given me the feedback that I'm not showing enough of the entry and exit from small towns, because for them that's very interesting. It's less interesting for me, to be honest. Yeah, the small towns in this part of the world in particular are, well, sort of lacking in much. But this is Nile, if that's how you pronounce it, Nelly, I'm not sure. And yeah, it's got a little bit more interest. I was actually going to stay here at one point, but I think I will try and get through to Inman, where I've just learned of a accommodation opportunity. Again, one of the ones that isn't listed, so it's a little bit hard to track down. But yeah, there you go. There's Nile. In and out, complete. This last stretch for the day is proving quite tricky. Very strong headwind. The track is still very good. I haven't gone through many of the soft parts that are notorious here. I am going past a lot of bushes that look like they'd have thorns, and thorns is the other big thing here, but I'm assuming it's the wrong time of the year for that to be a problem. So yeah, my only real difficulty is the headwind. My legs feel like they've got a bit left in them, but yeah, it's turned what should have been a fairly easy day, because I haven't done much elevation, into a fairly energy sapping day, to be honest. I feel like I might be going backwards soon if I don't watch out. The other thing is that it's getting dark so early. Like, it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon at the moment, and yeah, it feels like the sun is about to go down, and when it goes down so quick. But got my lights charged, and it's not like I'm competing with other traffic on this pathway, which is straight and free of obstacles. Actually, I wish I had a few more obstacles. A bit of shelter from the wind would be really good. But again, you know, sure, the prairies, the plains aren't as beautiful as the forested areas I've been to. They're a bit monotonous, but their open expanses are, you know, something that I'm not used to. And we go on holidays like these, trips like these, to experience something new. So I'm okay with it. Hi, sorry I haven't been recording much today. I left Inman quite early trying to avoid some of the wind, and that was pretty successful. It's got a bit windy again now, but yeah, most of today has been relatively easy going. It feels flat, and then you realize you're actually climbing a reasonable amount over a long period of time, and the trail has been very straight across the plains, and that's probably the main reason why I haven't been recording too much. It's the same landscape basically all day. Slowly acres of corn are being replaced by acres of beef cattle, and the two intermingle. Presumably that beef, those cattle get to eat corn, probably in beef feedlots, I'm imagining it. Replying to one or two comments that I've received on these videos, the main one, not necessarily posted, but often emailed to me, is, am I getting bored since my family left? Presumptuous. I might have been getting bored when they were here. Nah, they're good to bike with. But no, I'm not getting bored at all. You know, I listen to a lot of ebooks while I'm riding, and I also try and do some work, listen to journal articles and sometimes book chapters that I have some software that I can get it converted from text into audio. Once upon a time, when I was a kid, a expert, I guess, diagnosed me with dyslexia. I totally rejected it and have never really accepted it. I know it's probably true, but I was pretty high performing even with this seeming disability, and what I put that down to then, and I still do now, is that I have coping mechanisms that basically imagine it away. One of them is to listen to a lot of the articles that I want to understand, rather than to read them. Once upon a time, when listening to student seminars, there was a student, human geography student, that stood up and talked about her intent to do research on dyslexia as a disability, and I think she used that phrase about 20 times in a 7-minute presentation. And she was the last to go in that session, and there's still a little bit of time left over, and I just looked around the room and says, look, I've got something I feel I should say, I must say, but I'd rather demonstrate rather than speak. Can I do that? And I got their permission, and I went up and very elaborately took my shoe off, extracted the shoelace from it, tied it one end to a whiteboard marker, and the other end put a loop in it, put a cross with the whiteboard marker on the board, and then put my finger through the loop and held it against the cross, stretched out the shoelace and made another cross at the end, then took the whiteboard marker out and proceeded to start from the second cross and go around anti-clockwise in a circle. And then I took another coloured whiteboard marker and put my finger back on the cross and started at the first cross and went round, sort of using it as a compass. And there was a almost perfect one-to-one correlation between the two circles. And then I looked at the room and said, if there's anyone in the room that can freehand a better circle than my first circle, stand up now, and I will accept that dyslexia is a disability. Otherwise, I'm going to imagine that you're all disabled and I'm the only able-bodied person in the room. So it's part of who I am. Yeah, one of the reasons why I don't talk about it very often is I tend to be a smartass about it and piss people off by doing things like freehanding circles which is just one of the little benefits you get from being dyslexic. Some people, not all. Yeah, I have a particular artistic ability that comes out in certain things. Maybe it comes out in communication. After all, the job I do is all about communication. Yeah, you might not be so good at written communication, but oral communication works. Anyway, I feel like I'm ranting now, but yeah, I don't get bored. Okay, I'm just coming into a small town. I think it must be Wood Lake because there's nothing else sort of marked between Wood Lake and Valentine. After I stayed the night at Bassett, the trail has been, yeah, remarkably easy. It's really sunny today, and I'm in shorts. First time I've ridden in shorts for a long time. And yeah, the surface is a bit less consolidated, a bit softer. You know, if you're not watching, you might get a bit bogged down at the side of the trail, but it's altogether been great. All these rumours about it being very poor surface and rough and dangerous. I don't know where they've come from because it's been really easy going. I don't, you know, on a gravel sort of trail, even a rail trail, I don't often do 100 kilometers, 60 miles a day easily, but yeah, I think I did more than that yesterday and hardly raised a sweat. So yeah, I think it's a great trail, and it looks like a nice little town. I don't see any open windows or evidence of use. There's a campground or something here, but yeah, ghost town or not, it's great. Must be about 35 kilometers to go until I get to Valentine, and that will be the end of the Cowboy Recreation Trail. You know, I'd almost sort of feared this experience for such a long time. You know, reading reports of multiple punctures, rough trails and really bad headwinds. Occasionally I've got a bit of a headwind, but the tactic of the last couple of days of getting up really early and riding before the the wind gets up, it just means it's been wonderful. I've actually really enjoyed this. Very straight and very rural, not much nature, but after a while you get in a sort of mode where you don't really want to think about the cycling, you just want to cycle. And trails like this are actually quite good for that way of thinking. I've only got maybe 500 kilometers to go after today, and it's pretty much all on road. Just a few little tracks before Casper, Wyoming. I think I might even get into Wyoming in a couple of days' time, but it's all on road. State Highway 20 and State Highway 18, and I'm thinking I might change things up somehow. If I can do 100 kilometers on this sort of trail, soft as it is, a day, I might be able to do 150 or so on the road and turn that last 5 days into 3. It's worth a shot. It would also, I think, make finding accommodation a lot easier, because that's been my only worry out here in rural Nebraska. And I think there are like motels and such like as you go on, but not every sort of 100 kilometers. So the other accommodation options aren't so good. The last couple of nights I've managed to find something in towns without any accommodation marked, by using a bulletin board for people seeking rural labour. So as you can see, the Cowboy Recreation Trail is not too far from the road, Highway 20, and it's straight, and the road's straight. But suits my way of thinking as of this moment. Hello, I'm riding the last stages of the Cowboy Recreation Trail. It's been more noticeably uphill the last hour and a half or so, but still very manageable. Very much like every other rail trail, not much more than a degree max, maybe 2 in places. And because I've been going uphill for a bit, my legs are hurting a bit. Made me think that apart from the 2 semi-major injuries where I hit obstacles and broke things, I've been remarkably healthy on this trip. I usually get a lot of small niggles, cramps, knee pain, calf pain, and especially saddle sores. I haven't had a single saddle sore on this entire trip. In fact, those little small niggly injuries have been almost completely absent. I was trying to think why that might have been the case, and can't really put my finger on it. Maybe it's because it's such a big trip that I've been pacing myself from the start. Normally I do 120, 130 kilometers a day when I'm by myself, that is. Typically I've been doing 100 kilometers, 60 miles or so, mostly because I've got other work things to do in my day, and so I can't ride from dawn to dusk all the time. But maybe that's it. Maybe it was the extra fitness work I did before departing. I'm a bit notorious for not doing any training before these sorts of trips, and then trying to get fit on the trail, which is kind of doable compared to other related activities like through hiking, where I don't think that is all that possible. On a bike you can do it, but I think maybe it's pacing myself. Definitely don't think it's a better diet or anything like that, because it's the US. When you're biking, you're just having to use gas stations and buy rubbish. But I think maybe the pacing has really helped. It's also maybe a reflection of being on rail trails and canal paths so much, in that you're never actually having to bust your gear, bust your body going up steep hills. So I left Valentine fairly early this morning, and this is going to be the first day with no trails, just the side of the road all day for quite some time. And I've got 2 or 3 of these. I'm trying to minimize them by doing big days. Left early. I'm already 40 kilometers in, so the plan of doing 150 kilometer days and it not taking as long, which I think will be good for my mental health, seems to be working. And the weather's great. It's supposed to get up to like 22 degrees Celsius today, and even 25 degrees Celsius tomorrow, and that'll break the back of the distance over to Douglas, and then the day from Douglas to Casper has a little bit of trail in it, so and the weather's going to be good there too, so probably won't record a heck of a lot. From just before Rushfall, I started riding on this, which I assume is the same railway corridor as the Cowboy Recreation Trail is on. I'd heard that the county had purchased the old corridor and could make an extra
150 miles or something like that. Didn't realize it actually started on doing so. And it looks like it's only possible either side of Rushville where there are some bridges. The surface is a little bit rough, to be honest, and I'm just about ready to get off it, I think, but my 700C tyres are just a little bit narrow for it, but yeah, it's got some potential. And being so close to State Highway 20, it is fairly easy to get on and off. So who knows, a couple of years after this, might find that it's even more doable.
Oh, hello! Currently riding somewhere between Rushville and Shadron. I must be getting close to Shadron. We're making such good ground today, sort of constantly going over 20 k's an hour. There isn't much wind, and up until very recently it's been behind me, slightly into it now, but yeah, the good damage has already been done, which is great. Yeah, definitely going to get through at least 150 kilometers today, make good on the fine weather while I can. That bit of rail trail, brand new rail trail, actually extended on quite a long way. I looked it up later, and yeah, it's been put in from Gordon to Rushville according to the website for the Cowboy Recreation Trail, but I think I rode it probably 10 miles past there. There's some very recent bridge work that's been put in, and it got no rougher. So I think all up, that must have been 25 mile, 40 kilometer or so. I don't know if you can hear me. The real plains seems to have finally revealed itself. I got through most of Nebraska without too many headwinds. The weather's been quite fine, but yeah, this wind is awful. I got up early enough to miss most of it, and while I was going uphill, it wasn't so bad. But when I got to the top and sort of a tablelands plateau there, and even now that I'm going slightly downhill into a basin, it's just been so awful. But yeah, I'm past Manville Lusk. I think that means I've only got about 50 kilometers left to do today to Douglas, and then last day through to Casper tomorrow. So I'm dealing with it by saying to myself, I expected this all the way, and I expected snow flurries. So this isn't too bad. Oh, it's awful. This is Al's Way, which means I'm about halfway between Douglas and Casper. My final day. Been biking on Wyoming Highway 87, I think it is. It runs parallel to the I-25, but thank goodness I'm not on the interstate. Even with quite a big shoulder on the road, periodically getting blown into the road feels very dangerous. So yeah, that would be real bad if I was on the interstate. As it is, what I thought was going to be an easy, even half day has just been diabolical. You can probably hear the wind, probably won't see it. There's no vegetation to be shaken by it. And yeah, it's mostly head on. What a way to end it. Whoa. I think I might have to get off and push soon, because if I don't, I'm going to get blown off. I'm just coming into Casper, which means my Great American Rail Trail is all but an end. I know it might seem a bit lacking in suitable climax to end in Casper, Wyoming, rather than perhaps on the coast, perhaps after going across the entire United States in one direction. You know, I've mixed it up, but for reasons already explained, I don't regret that. As I'm biking this last little bit of rail trail on the last of my Gr8, I just sort of respond to some of the claims that are made on the Great American Rail Trail website. Well, I guess there's 4 of them in the title. Great American Rail Trail. 4 words in the title, and I guess there's 4 claims there. Is it great? I think so. Multiple meanings of great, of course. And it's great in terms of a wonderful experience. I don't have a long attention span. I'm entitled. I'm privileged, hard to please. I've hardly ever been uptight about these 70 odd days 60 odd days of biking. It's kept me occupied, and I think it's a great experience. Wonderful diversity of experience on the way. So it's great in that sense. It's also great in terms of the scale, the sheer expansiveness of the infrastructure behind this, and the immensity of the United States is something that you don't always appreciate as a visitor until you go from one side of it to the other. So it's great that way too. Is it a trail? Yes, I think surprisingly so, in that it's pieced together from a whole lot of, again, very diverse pathways and roads and former rail trails that might have been built, quite a bit of time ago without any sort of inkling that it might be turned into a nationwide path. But I've been surprised how much of a trail I've actually been on. I was all prepared for 50% road, 50% trail. It may have been, I haven't really calculated it yet, but it certainly didn't feel that way. It felt like I was off-road more often than not. Perhaps it's just what's memorable and what's not, but yeah, I don't know. It felt more of a trail than I had initially appreciated, and a sensibly planned one too, where there's a sense of consistency in how it's formatted, despite the historically hodgepodge nature of what it is. Rail, is it rail? Yes and no. Not in any ways contradicting what I've just said about it being a trail. To be honest, the bits that I'll remember most were probably all of the canal paths, the C&O, the I&M, the Hennepin. Those trails are just amazing. And there's other sorts of transport heritage that make up this great American rail trail that perhaps get a little bit underplayed. The emphasis is on the rail, but the surprise benefit is the non-rail trail, if you like. American. This is the bit which I guess I think could easily be reframed and rethought for a couple of reasons. First, obviously I've got commitments to Indigenous rights issues, and so in this transition from rail to rail trail, we might have left behind, forgotten some of the earlier transitions from Indigenous pathway, fur trade, to coachways, and then to rail. The more transitions like that you make, perhaps the more obscured becomes the original intent for navigating along these trails. So there's always a lie in the phrase American, as if US history started when the place became conceived as part of the Americas. What lies before that is something that perhaps just demands a bit more prominence in how the trail is interpreted. But the other one, the more important one to me, is the way that American can become a myth of nationhood that sets aside other interests in this particular set of trails. A lot of these rail trails have been rail trails for quite some time, and they are the result of very careful planning by county councils often, that saw an opportunity when transport modes changed and picked up corridors cheap. And biking is a much more recent understanding of how the place could be used. But there's also a lot of civic NGOs involved in the history of those smaller projects. And I again wonder whether, not with any intent by the Rails to Trails Conservancy or anything like that, but maybe its actions and sort of unifying and bringing everything together may over time lead to the overlooking of what these smaller organizations have done. Idea of a great American rail trail is in some ways a bit of a globalizing process, a national icon in the making, and it wasn't that. At least it wasn't that for the first 20 years of some of these trails. So let's not forget about the amazing efforts by local people and local organizations to make something often out of nothing, which laid the foundations for bringing it all together in an integrated form. But all good myths have slightly dodgy aspects behind them, and overall this really is a great American rail trail. And I'm in downtown Casper now. That's it. Woohoo! I've done it. You may have thought it was anticlimactical, but this is as good as reaching the sea and dipping my wheel into the sea. A wheel I'll probably have to replace for the second time.